and welcome again to From Piece to Piece, the Piece by Piece podcast. I'm your host, Nayobé Reemnet, your Miss Voluptuous Suriname 2025, and also the founder of Piece by Piece, which is a platform created to help young people explore their identity and use their voice to make a real difference in today's world. Each episode, we speak to inspiring individuals who are turning their personal puzzle pieces, meaning their stories, their values, and their experiences into action. Whether you're just getting started or looking to grow your advocacy, you're in the right place right here. So, today, I am closing out this MVP series that we've been doing with a queen who truly embodies resilience and grace, Melanie Robinson, Miss Voluptuous International. And this is not Miss, but Ms. International. She's the host of the Fearless and Fabulous podcast, a performer, a singer, and a veteran's wife who has traveled the world, and someone who competed in Miss Voluptuous multiple times before actually taking home the international crown. So I feel like I can learn so much from this queen. So let's invite her right now. Hello.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I know it's evening where you are. It is now noon here where I am in Virginia. So hope you had a wonderful day so far.
It was very productive, and I have a cake baking in my oven right now. So
Oh,
I love it. And do you have anything else planned for today? Ooh.
well, as you know, we have a round table coming up
Mhm.
in a couple hours. So I'm going to be talking to you and the rest of the MVP queens that we're going to be coming together in just a few short weeks. So
Yeah,
exciting.
it's so close. I'm super excited as well. And I will be there at the round table again. So,
Yay.
okay, we're going to dive right in if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Amazing. Could you introduce yourself for our audience?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I am Melanie Robinson. I am the reigning Ms. MS Voluptuous International 2024-2025. And I am a proud military spouse. I've been married to my soulmate, Clark, for about 15 years now, and we currently live in Newport News, Virginia. We have lived literally around the world during his military career. Professionally, I am a communications instructor. I've been a theater instructor. I have a background as a performer, a singer, and I am the host and creator of the Fearless and Fabulous podcast, where we inspire women to thrive no matter their age or size. So I am a jack of all trades. I wear many hats besides this crown.
I love that so much. Super inspiring. And as you've said, you are a jack of all trades and you're way more than just a crown. But could you try and describe your identity in 3 words?
Mm. So I saw that question and I thought, well, that's kind of tricky because any day it can change, right? Because we're always evolving. But I would say one of the things I am for sure is fearless. I always
Mhm.
try to live my life fearlessly as possible. Of course, I am fabulous no matter what age I am, what size I am. I'm always loving who I am, no matter what point in my life, because that's so important to always love yourself. And lastly, I would say that I am authentic. I'm always whoever I am. I never try to put on a front. I am never trying to pretend to be someone I'm not. So I would say those are the 3 things that describe me right this moment.
I love that so much. I'll ask you again tomorrow to see if it's the same.
It could change.
Right? So, speaking about your identity, do you feel like it has evolved through your pageant journey? And if so, how?
I absolutely think it has evolved. I think one of the things that's great about pageantry is that you learn so much about yourself and what you project out to other people and how people respond to you. And I have a very unusual pageant journey, I think, compared to a lot of women, because I did a pageant when I was 19. It was a local level of the Miss America pageant. And this was back in the late 80s. This is, the big hair, big shoulders,
Love
all
that.
that, all that. And I didn't have any YouTube videos to look at, at that point. I just kind of went off what I saw on TV. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I placed second runner up at that pageant. And
Amazing.
I know, and it was a big surprise, but I took I stepped away from it because, my life went in a different direction. And it wasn't until I was facing my 50th birthday when I had been kind of scared of entering this decade of my life. And it was because that had been taught to me unintentionally from my mother and her mother, just this feeling of, well, you're now old and you don't really have relevance. You're not considered beautiful anymore. And again, it wasn't something that was overt. It was just kind of like this message because of the way that they approached getting older. So that's how I learned it. So when I was entering my 50th birthday, I decided to change that narrative. I entered a local pageant when we lived in California, and I just decided I'm going to show up completely as I am. I'm stepping into something that is very unusual to me. I was the only plus size woman in that pageant, definitely the only one with short, vibrant hair. And I won a title. And it really made me realize just how much women need to see different women being celebrated. So that's where my pageant journey really was planted, is just realizing that we need to see many more types of women, not just in pageantry, but in leadership roles and in prominent spaces. So that has been my whole mission, is to try and get into more spaces where maybe we weren't, a woman like myself or any other plus size woman or a woman over 40 or 50 isn't normally seen and celebrated.
Mhm. Yeah, I fully see what you're talking about. My first pageant experience was actually quite similar. I posted about it today, actually, but I was the only plus size and black girl in a
Mm.
regional pageant that I just did for jokes and giggles. And then I actually also won a title, and I was like, maybe I should try and get myself out there so other people see me as well. Because my mom, my grandma, even me, we got so many positive messages from little girls or moms who were like, yes, you're
Yeah.
inspiring. And that's the same thing how I see you as well. You're so inspiring, and you're doing such great things, and you're showing other people that yes, we do how do I say this, deserve to be seen.
Absolutely. And I really have a mantra that I live by, is if you can't see her, you can't be her.
Mhm.
And that's something that I remember whenever I'm having a low day, when I'm not really feeling that great. And I just like, oh, what if am I doing anything that's even making a difference? And you get kind of that stinking thinking going on.
Mhm.
And then I will get a message from someone, or I will, just get someone who will tag me and say, you've inspired me to do something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And that just, it gives me that validation, like, yes, what I'm doing is right. And it's
Mhm.
not about me. It's about other women feeling empowered to do the things they didn't think were possible for them. And so congratulations for you for showing up and doing that and getting that title, because yes, now little girls are going to be seeing you and say, yeah, I can do that too. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, I fully agree, honestly. Okay, next question. After competing multiple times before winning the actual crown that's on your head right now, what kept you going? What kept you motivated? What was a little voice saying in your head, like, yes, I need to keep going?
It's really funny because I'll just kind of backtrack a little bit. So when I won that title in California, that local title, it wasn't long after that when my husband got orders to move to Mississippi. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit because I just got this title and I wanted to do some things with it, and we had to move. So when I got to Mississippi, I thought, well, what can I do next? And I was looking around for different pageant systems, and I entered one where, again, I was the only plus size woman. No one else looked like me. But unfortunately, I was not pulled for the finals, and I was the only one not pulled for the finals. And that hurt my heart because I felt like, well, I'm either too different for this system,
Mhm.
or this just isn't the right system for me. And really, it just wasn't the right one for me. Not, not all pageant systems are meant for, different types of women, which is unfortunate, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
And I could have quit. I could have just thought, well, that's it. There's no space for me. But I thought, no, I'm just getting started.
That's the
And
spirit.
and it wasn't, and I discovered Miss Voluptuous. And when I talked to Natalie, our wonderful director, I suddenly felt like this kinship with her. Like I felt like she saw me and she understood, where I was coming from and what I was doing. So when I competed in 2023, I had no illusions about what would happen. My main goal was I just want to make the finals. I want to make the finals. If I make the finals, I will be so happy with that. And I was going to retire no matter what after that pageant. I just thought, yeah, if I make the finals, I'll retire. It'll be great.
Mhm.
And I made top three. I was second runner up in 2023, and I was thrilled. Like I was just so excited to be pulled for the top three. And afterwards, a couple people came up to me and said, "You're coming back, right? You're coming back. You have to come back."
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know. I don't know. I thought I was going to retire. I talked to my husband about, yeah, I'm going to go retire. But something inside me just said, you have some more to do. You have some more to do. So what I did is that I really focused in on my platform, Fearless and Fabulous, and that's where I started my podcast and started talking to so many women around the world about their stories. And for me, it was more, I'm not going back to compete. It's just I'm going back as all of what I wanted to do in pageantry because
Mhm.
I knew no matter what would happen at this last pageant, that would be it for me as a competitor, at least for a long while.
Yeah.
So I had the reign as Miss Voluptuous Gulf Coast that I pictured I would have as the title holder because that
Mhm.
way I would not be disappointed no matter what would happen. So that is what kept me going is what is my overall mission? What would I do if I didn't have a crown? That's the
Mhm.
thing. Is that it's got to be something that really made me want to keep progressing forward. So
Yeah.
that's what really kept me going. It's just that feeling, that mission of showing up in those spaces where no other woman feels confident in going.
Yeah, I love that. And that's also so relatable because I also chose piece by piece because it's something that I would have done either way. And it
Hmm.
just keeps you motivated when you do something that actually matters to you personally. So I definitely feel that as well. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Thank you.
of course. Okay, then we're gonna talk about a bit different, like something a bit different. Because you did fill in one of the workbooks, the Purpose Puzzle workbook, if I am
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Yes. And in your workbook, you mentioned something that stood out to me, so I wanted to ask you to elaborate on it.
Sure.
I read something about you developing a fear of aging at some point because of what you saw in the media. That
Hmm.
stood out to me, so I was wondering if you could tell a bit more about that.
Sure. So keeping in mind that I'm 55, so I'm a Gen
Mhm.
Xer. I didn't grow up with social media, internet, any of that. But I did grow up with a lot of magazines. That's where what our social media really was then, and seeing what was popular and what was being held up as the standard. And growing up, I never saw any older woman being glamorous, being positioned in a glamorous space.
Mhm.
And on television, if it was an older woman, she was usually very matronly or kind of a naggy type of character. And there was like this weird space where there was the mom who was like maybe in her late 30s or early 40s, and then you didn't see any women in TV or movies until they're like 80.
Mhm.
So there's like this space where you just didn't see these women at
Yeah.
all. And like I mentioned, like my mom cried on her 30th birthday because she didn't think she was beautiful and young anymore. And my grandmother never told us her age because she thought that was something that you had to keep private and then
Oh.
you never talked about your age. So that was something that was just ingrained in my brain that when you get to a certain age, you're no longer relevant.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of inner work for me to undo. And that's what pageantry helped me to fix that part of me that was broken.
Yeah. I can fully imagine that happening if that's all you see of older women. And I am
Hmm.
actually very curious. Do you feel like you healed that age, that fear, I guess?
Yes, absolutely. I
Amazing.
feel very comfortable saying I'm 55. I'm very comfortable moving forward in my life at the very stages I'm going to be. And I won't lie. Like,
Mhm.
I admit I'm vain. I love to look beautiful. Love to, put on my makeup and make myself look amazing. And the day when I start seeing things sag some more, uh,
Mhm.
I've had to like let myself know that this is part of life. This is,
Mhm.
just part of what happens to the body, but it does not happen to my soul. It
Mm-mm.
does not change who I am. It's just my body is changing. And
Yeah.
if I decide to do like a little plastic surgery or something along the way, I might, but I'm not, saying hard line, oh, I'm absolutely doing it. It has to be something where I feel like it's for me to feel fully myself.
Yeah, fair. And I feel like even though like that might be something that you're thinking about, or even if you're not thinking about it, it's fully your choice. Either way,
Yeah.
you're going to be fearless and fabulous. So we're going to move right into our next segment, which is all about your advocacy and what you've been doing with it so far. So, could you tell me, well, we already talked about the issue closest to your heart, so I'm not going to ask you about that, but could you tell me a bit more about how you first got involved with the work that you do for your advocacy?
Interestingly enough, I really started it back in 2012 without me even realizing it.
Hmm.
So as I mentioned, I have a background as a performer, a singer. I danced a lot. And part of that, I had a real problem with my body image.
Mhm.
During the time when I was entering professional performing, it was the early 2000s, and being super thin was very, very popular. And I really felt that I need to be super thin in order to be hired. So I unfortunately developed an eating disorder, and I felt like I had to be a size zero in order to be considered.
Mhm.
And so I went through that, and it wasn't until 2012 when I was in a kind of a bad car accident. We lived in Germany, and my mobility was changed a lot. I had some damage done to my back, and I suddenly could not dance the way I once did. I would like walk for a while, and I'd be in a lot of pain, and as a result, I gained weight. So when that was happening, I had to come to terms with, all right, am I going to let my whole life be determined by the number on the scale, or am I just going to live my life?
Mhm.
And that's when I started to blog then. And it was just a way to showcase myself, being proud, not being afraid of being a curvier woman than what I was. I would showcase plus size designers, plus size influencers. Like, I really was trying to get into the space of body positivity, because that was pretty new at that point, just to talk about it and show up. So I worked on that blog for a long time. And then when it started to change into more of a focus on women's voices and their stories with Fearless and Fabulous, it's interesting how that's all come together. And
Yeah.
like so many of the things that were issues for me when I was younger are still issues today, and for so many other women. And I don't want anyone to ever feel like their story isn't being heard or they're
Mhm.
not being seen. So if it's not just my podcast where I'm interviewing my guests about the things that they've gone through and how they've come up the other side thriving, I'm also on podcasts like yours, and I've told my story to media outlets, and I've also done a presentation at a local university about body image and gender in the media. So I'm speaking my truth, and I am sharing, issues that affect women throughout the various stages of their life. And that's where it's taken me, and that's where it's going to still go even after I pass on the crown.
Ugh, I love that so much. You sound like such an active member of society, which is exactly what I like to advocate for. So I love hearing about that. I am, however, curious. You are a military wife. Is that the
Yes.
phrase? Right? Yeah.
Yes.
How does all of that tie back into your advocacy and what you like to advocate for?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me that, because as a military spouse, I have found that I've become very passionate about the issues that affect military families.
Mhm.
And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the things that especially military spouses go through with the constant moving and having to constantly change their jobs and losing their network when they move, a lot of women, because most of the spouses are women,
Mhm.
they lose their sense of identity, and they lose their sense of purpose outside of, being a mom or being a wife.
Yeah.
And so I have worked also with military spouse groups at various bases that we've been. And I think that really ties into being fearless and fabulous, because every time moving to a new area, you have to figure out, where do I belong? And the inclination for a lot of military spouses is to isolate themselves. They feel very lonely. And for me to get out into a new area and try to find my people, as they say, is part of the way I try to stay fearless and to still connect with causes that I care about. So that's a lot of what, my life being a military spouse has been, is to fearlessly go into new places, talk to people, get to know my area, and to find the best way that I can serve the local area. Because for me, service is so much a part of my heart. I really love to help people wherever I can with causes that are dear to me.
Ugh, I love that so much. And also, like, I myself, my mom just typed this in the chat, like, I don't know this. But when I was younger, my father was also in the military. And I recognize everything that you're saying from what my mom had to go through, and that she sometimes had to do it all by herself, when they were
Mm-hmm.
stationed. So it's very recognizable, and I think it's beautiful that you show that side of your world as well. Because I definitely connect with it, and I'm sure that multiple other people also do. So I
Well, and I
really wanted
think
to ask you that question.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it also taught me is that it gave me a real sense of resilience,
Mm-hmm.
because when you move so much and have to change your life so many times, you either are going to fall apart or you're going to become stronger because of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
And I would say that's been the main thing that I've gained from living this military life, is that I become much more resilient, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah, we see it as well. Like, you're doing so many things, so you do show off that resilience as well. I do wonder, all of this might also be quite overwhelming at points. How do you try and stay motivated throughout it all?
I think for me is that I have learned to recognize when I am overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, especially as title holders, we tend to feel like we have to be everything to everybody, and we have to always be all put together. And that's not real life. We have things that pop up in our lives that are very difficult to deal with. And I'm currently going through that right now. And what I realized when I was starting to feel very overwhelmed is that I need to take a step back and I
Mm-hmm.
need to refocus on me. So I stepped away from social media for a few days. I just focused on resting and connecting to things that really brought me joy. And when I was sad, I would let myself cry, and I would write my feelings out, and just really focused on my mental health, because that's the thing, is that when you're a type of personality that feels like you have to be there for everybody, you have to do everything just right, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
burn out super fast. You're going to
Yes.
burn out, and you're going to get sick and all kinds of things that are just going to bring you down. So that's what I do is when I'm overwhelmed. Like I really focus back on myself because I cannot be good for anyone else if I'm running on empty.
I fully agree with you, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. As someone who dealt with burnout herself, I know more than anyone else how important it is to check in with yourself if you can be there, like
Mhm.
your full 100%. If you can't, that's also okay. Make sure that you take care for yourself at first before doing anything else. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for mentioning that. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is also the
All right.
last segment. So we're going through it quite fast. Could you tell me a bit about the projects, actions, and roles that you have taken on throughout your advocacy?
Oh my goodness. I know I'm going to leave some things out, but I would say like I mentioned, my podcast has been like the main focus, just getting women's stories of things that they have faced that really challenged them and how they got through the other side. I am also working on a book right now about becoming fearless and fabulous, talking about things that really challenged me in my life. And it's a half autobiography, half workbook that I'm creating so that when someone's reading my story, there's a space for them to reflect on a similar situation and how they handled it. So that's a work in progress. I've also become really part of the pageant judging scene, which I'm really excited about because I think it's also important to have judges that are not your typical looking pageant woman so
Mhm.
that more women will be feeling more comfortable to enter systems. I think
Yes.
it's difficult sometimes for women and girls to enter a pageant system if they see judges that don't look like them at all.
Mhm.
So that is something that I'm becoming a part of. And I've also done a lot more public speaking as a presenter. And like I mentioned, I've done a couple conferences. I'm going to be doing some more this next year after my handover. And so it's been a lot of different things, but all connected together between my podcast, public speaking, pageant judging, and working on my writing. So it's all these things are just helping to amplify, what my whole mission is to show up in spaces that we need to be seen in.
Yeah, I love that so much, and it sounds like like you've been very busy. Okay,
Mhm.
let's say in 10 years you
Oh
have
my
achieved
goodness.
all the things that you wanted. What is one thing that you would hope society would take away from your mission?
That there's no such thing as being too old to do anything.
I love that. I love that. Could you elaborate on it?
Sure. I am hoping that any woman who's like in her 50s, 60s, and has always thought about, I always wanted to do a theater production. Oh, I don't think everyone's going to cast me. Just do it. Just
Mm-hmm.
go
Yeah.
audition. Or to perhaps, if you're a singer, start a YouTube channel and sing, or to record with someone. Whatever it is, or maybe you've always wanted to run a marathon, do that. It's just the idea that you're never too old to start something that is in your heart.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wait for permission to do it.
Mm-hmm. Clock it.
You know
Love
what,
that
you know
so
what I'm
much.
saying? You don't need anyone's permission to pursue something that is in your heart.
Yeah.
It's
I
it's
wish
your
you were
life.
here. Yeah, I wish you were here to tell me this a few years ago, or honestly, tell some of the people in my current life to like exactly this message, because I feel like way too many people are holding back because they feel like they need someone else's permission or someone else's
Yeah,
like yes to do something. It's very important to just remember that you are the boss of your own life, and I feel like you're sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and what is the biggest lesson that pageantry has taught you about perseverance specifically?
Hmm. I think it also has taught me about I'm trying not to get emotional here because it's an emotional thing for me.
Mhm.
Is it's almost better to fail because you learn so much more about yourself when you do that.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
When I think back to that one pageant where I was literally the only one in my category not pulled for finals. I
Mhm.
was standing alone on the stage, not pulled.
Mhm.
And I think about how Melanie of an earlier time would have been devastated by that.
Mhm.
How I would have never even tried again. And what pageantry has done for me is that I am so much stronger than I even realize I am. I
Mhm.
just have to believe in that strength. And I have to harness that strength and understand that I'm not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yes. Amen to
But
that.
I will be for somebody though,
Mhm. It
and to
actually,
keep believing in that.
yeah, I love that. It actually touches upon one of the questions that we got in the chat box. It was written in Dutch, so I'll translate. But
Okay.
someone would like to know what you would tell your own 22-year-old self. And I think they said
Mm.
22 because I just turned 22. Could you
Oh
tell us that?
yeah. Happy belated birthday to
Thank
you.
you.
Oh my goodness. So 22-year-old me was a big time people pleaser.
Mm,
I really felt like I had to follow a script of life.
mm,
I came from a very small town in Michigan, and it was very normal to marry when you were in your very early 20s. And I married my college sweetheart at the time. He's my ex-husband now, okay?
mm.
But uh I really felt like I had to live my life according to what other people thought the way I
Mm,
should live. And I would go back and tell her that you don't have to follow any sort of script. You write your own book, you make your own decisions. I would have pursued my career in theater much earlier,
mm.
but I was listening to a voice like, well, that's not practical. What if you don't get cast or anything? What are you going to do? You need to do the safe thing.
Yeah,
What a waste of time. That was such a waste of time. I should have just gone for it sooner.
I love that so
So
much.
that's the
Yeah, and
advice I would give her. Just go for
it's
it sooner.
it's honestly something that I should hear as well because I told you this already, but I just had an audition that didn't go as planned. I sadly
Yeah.
didn't get cast, and my first instinct was to say, well, then I'll stop trying. But that's not what we should tell ourselves. We should keep persevering. We should keep trying. Just because I failed this time doesn't mean that I have to fail the next time. And I feel like people like you are teaching me that as well. So
I'm
thank you.
so glad.
Of course. Okay, then we'll move on to the last part of our podcast. It's almost over. But it's time for our mini piece mission. And for everyone who is new, the mini piece mission is where our speaker will tell our listeners a bit more about a tip or an activity or something that they can try out this next week to get a bit closer to what they want to achieve. So, Melanie, could you tell
Yeah.
us your mini piece mission?
So my mini piece mission would be for everyone is to turn off the noise for a couple days.
Mm.
And it's kind of ironic I'm saying this on social media, but I do think it's too easy to get caught up in the noise of social media, and it will cloud your brain. It will keep you from moving towards something you really want to do. So if you're feeling that kind of way, just don't check in on your phone for a couple days. Just let it be. It'll still be there when you go back, and just start focusing back on how your body feels, how your mind feels. Move with intention. Do things that help you feel like you're in your body.
Mm.
And for me, that's always uh, like for my cats, for example, I'm a cat mom. I will cuddle with my cat just to make me feel more connected to something, or I'll write, or I'll sing in the car. It's those types of things just to do more human type things versus more uh, technological type things. And I think that's going to help people to still be connected to who they really are and to whatever they want to keep pursuing. So give your phone a rest a couple of days if you feel like it's getting a little noisy in your brain.
Oh, I love that you shared that. When I was recovering from my surgery, I actually did the same thing. For a while, I just turned off my phone and my messaging and everything. And I started noticing the small things in life, like how
Hmm.
whenever I was in the bus, people would wave at each other from the bus, or how I like to act like I am in how do I say this? Like I'm in my own television show whenever I just only have my mind on. It's just so nice to start noticing the real things in life. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that. I advise everyone to do this as well. Okay, well, that's the end already. Thank you so much for joining me. If we want to follow your journey, even after your crown, after you have given your crown to the next person, where can we do that?
You can find me at my Instagram, Melanie Gray Robinson Official. That's where I'm going to be posting more things about being fearless and fabulous and speaking your truth and speaking with confidence. So that's, if that's your jam, follow me there, and I'd love to connect with you.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your voice. It's so powerful and so meaningful. And to our listeners who just popped in and are like, no, I missed everything. Don't worry. This will also be posted on our Spotify and on our YouTube
Yay.
channel. So you can still listen to Melanie's story right there. For now, till next time. Bye, Melanie.
Bye. I'll see you very soon.